Oh, I can. I don't. Even, I was gonna say I'll go right for Reflect. I forgot I have Misty Terrain. They can't Sleep Powder Annihilate if they want. I'm gonna set Misty Terrain. Oh, nice. That even turns off their Psychic Terrain just as they switch in DD in. Amazing. This is one more team that did well at the Gdansk Regional Championship. This one made top cut, I believe. And if you've watched my content, you probably know why this one got my attention. At time of recording, shortly after the regional, I have also recently played myself the October Grand Challenge with a Mono Ghost team that I built largely around Bulk Up, Terrifier, Leftovers, Annihilape, with support from Screens and Sinistra. And I actually found that very strong. I did much better than I expected with a team of only Ghost types in the Grand Challenge. And I came away feeling like Annihilape with Screens might be something to work on some more. Sure enough, first regional after that over in Europe, I believe. And Annihilape makes top cut with a set that looks very like the one I was running. So at least everything on the open team sheet is exactly the same. And it's not Sableye setting Screens, but it's set as Klefki. But the Sinistra is right here to switch in and help keep Annihilape healthy as well. Klefki, compared to Sableye, of course, it is not naturally immune to Fake Out, though it does have the Terra Ghost option on this team. But it is naturally immune to Dire Claw. It has the Steel and Fairy typing that's strong defensively overall. This one can click Misty Terrain, which will take some pressure off of Terastallizing Annihilape. You know, Terastallizing Annihilape can be important to avoid burns, but sometimes it makes Annihilape weaker defensively into the opponent's other Pokemon, like into certain Ursaluna teams and so on. So having Misty Terrain, it feels a little bit niche, but I think it will be nice to have to give me another way to prevent Annihilape from being burned. This team also has Mousehold to pair with the Annihilape. My Ghost-type team had no side beat-up, no real Rage Fist self-activation at all. This Mousehold will give me the option to click that side beat-up and get Rage Fist going quickly, which, again, could help with some situations that were difficult for my Annihilape team. I don't know that I love this Mousehold set, because I'm at the point right now, and I didn't start out this way, but right now I always put Population Bomb on my Mousehold. You can see this one also has Friend Guard, which will help Annihilape take big hits, but Annihilape in Screens is already very bulky and hard for an opponent to take down. I'm at the point where I'm putting Technician and Beat Up on every Mousehold that I build. Sorry, Technician and Population Bomb. Because Mousehold being able to threaten its own damage like that is just so effective in so many situations. So I don't love that we don't have Population Bomb at all on this set, but it is still threatening the side beat up, and that's very strong, and it can taunt opponents, and it gives me more redirection support along with Trick Room. This team also has an important component of my Annihilape build in that it has a very strong attacker that you can bring in the back or as an alternative mode. On this team, it's Blood Moon Ursaluna with the Assault Vest, so just a Pokemon with high stats across the board, very difficult to take down, hits extremely hard. And unlike my Ghost team, this team has Trick Room on the Sinistra so that it can give Ursaluna that little bit of speed control. And, you know, if the matchup is right, you can set the Trick Room. Ursaluna will go before its opponents. And, yeah, it gives you another alternative way to blast through teams if the Annihilape setup doesn't look promising. Or, I mean, I'm not going to be playing best of 3 in this video, but if it doesn't work out in a game 1. Finally, we have the Alolan Ninetales. This one is running a Focus Sash set, but it doesn't have Aurora Veil, which makes sense because we already have Screens on the Klefki. And I do think Prankster Screens Klefki is probably more useful here. But this Ninetales gives you some more strong offense, able to set up the snow and click those strong Ice-type attacks, and of course Blizzard having the 30% freeze chance can create openings for Annihilape to set up, or for Ursaluna to safely attack. Either one can benefit from the Ninetales support, and Ninetales can help deal with the Dragon types and opposing Ursaluna that could potentially give trouble to Annihilape. Plus, this Ninetales has Encore, so being able to lock an opponent into a specific move can also create openings for Annihilape to set up. So Annihilape has a ton of support on this team, not just in Klefki and Sinistra, which are very familiar pieces if you've watched my Mono Ghost videos, and if you haven't, I really enjoy those. I suggest you check them out. But then we also have its traditional partner in Mousehold, and we have the Ninetales. A ton of supports here, and Ursaluna to still get some offense. Let's get on the ladder, and let's see what this version of Bulk Up Annihilape with Screens can do. So right off the bat, we see Sneasler, Typhlosion, Rillaboom, Kingambit, Dragonite and Primarina. It's Hisui and Typhlosion, but I guess that goes without saying these days. The Primarina could have Haze, so that could be an issue for setting Annihilape up. Otherwise, well, it's not like Primarina is good for Blood Moon Ursaluna either. I think we go for the Annihilape stuff and we make them, you know, make them click Haze if they have it. I could bring Mousehold so I can at least get the boosted Rage Fist. I think Annihilape then has to watch out for Typhlosion if they lead that. But I can Terra Fire. The alternative that I'm thinking about is leading Klefki and setting Light Screen right away if I see the Typhlosion. But I think given that I have the Terra Fire available on Annihilape, I'm okay with just Mousehold, Annihilape lead. I'll still bring Klefki in the back. And let's just go all in on the Annihilape mode this game and bring Sinistcha. We'll see how that works out. So we do see Sneasler and Typhlosion. Sneasler then is able to take out the Mousehold if it has that. And I don't really want to Terra Ghost Mousehold, given that I'm likely to use the Terra Fire on Annihilape. But I do have Protect on both Pokemon, so I can just click that to get through this turn. See what the opponent does and adjust to it on the next turn. We do see the Fake Out from the Sneasler into Annihilape, interestingly, so they expected it to Terra, I guess. Let me just check. Mousehold will definitely be faster than Typhlosion. Doesn't really help if it gets one-shot by Sneasler. So the side beat-up is a little bit risky, but in this position I think I just do try it. I still could consider the Terra Ghost Mousehold, but I think I need to Terrastallize Annihilape to actually get the Rage Fist into Typhlosion. So we're just going to hope this works out. There's the Eruption. Knocks out Mousehold. So the it's Scarf Typhlosion. That was always a possibility. I don't know why I didn't think of it. But that does mean now that it's at low HP and locked into Eruption. So I think I can get Klefki in here and start getting my screens. I also can click Misty Terrain to protect Annihilape from Dire Claw, but let's click Reflect first at least, because we definitely protect Annihilape this turn. And actually, that's a benefit of Misty Terrain that I didn't think about when I was looking at the paste. The Annihilape that I used didn't have Misty Terrain support, and so it could be statused by Dire Claw. I had some decent luck in the Grand Challenge, and also just Annihilape behind screens is so hard to break in some matchups that if I had bad Dire Claw luck, I could usually play through it anyway. But that actually is a significant advantage to Klefki over Sableye on this team, that it's able to set the manual Misty Terrain. And I think I'll just go for it here. And they haven't... Oh, they have Terra'd. I'll Drain Punch Kingambit. It might protect. No, Sucker Punch is Annihilape. They doubled into Annihilape and they knock it out. Okay. Yeah, they got me with that. And I'm not going to have any significant damage with Sinistcha and Klefki to overcome this. So this is going to be a Game 1 loss. We'll just click Dazzling Gleam and Matcha Gotcha, but it's not going to be enough. And of course, that's the problem on going all in on a mode like Bulk Up Annihilape. I found it very effective in a lot of games, and obviously it was my choice to try to win this one, but when the Annihilape goes down, there's not a whole lot I can do there. So maybe I needed Ursaluna in the back. I mean, I didn't even KO a single Pokemon in this game. Ursaluna in the back I think still loses, but obviously there was a risk that I took on not bringing that extra offense, and we saw that not pay off there. But we'll see what we can do in at least a couple more games. Got Dragapult here, along with Primarina, Gothitelle, Incineroar, Alolan, Ninetales, and Goldango. So Incineroar can give Annihilape a Defiant boost. Annihilape can switch out against Gothitelle if it's not Terrastalized, although generally on a team like this, there aren't many situations where I want to switch Annihilape out. Their two Ghost types are both offensive threats into Annihilape that could force my Terra, and then they have the Primarina. Well, Primarina is just always an offensive threat into Annihilape. This is all the more reason that I think I'd kind of like to have Population Bomb on the Mousehold, because I feel like this team just kind of has a generally iffy matchup into Primarina. Although Primarina, it's a strong Pokemon, but it's not like it can't be overcome. What's the Terra type on Ursaluna? Water. Okay, so that helps a lot into Primarina as well. And actually, Terra Water Ursaluna might be very good in this matchup. I'm going to try Annihilape. I think with... I kind of want to bring Sinistcha and Mousehold. But that doesn't... Given that I want Ursaluna in the back, that doesn't leave me room for Klefki. Am I okay doing this one without screens? I don't think I am, so we're going to forego the Mousehold instead. Okay, we see Dragapult and Gothitelle. Again, Annihilape can switch out if it wants. Klefki cannot. But turn 1, I'm going to click Light Screen and Bulk Up. Gothitelle can fake out Klefki, but if it does that, it can't also attack Annihilape. So this feels like it should be okay. Dragapult... Most likely its strongest move into Annihilape is Phantom Force, so it at least won't do damage this turn, but it could have a different set. Yeah, there's the Shadow Ball. But at least the Light Screen weakens that. The special defense drop is actually pretty bad here, though. And Annihilape just drops to Gothitelle's Terra Dark Foul play, which I think it's safe to say I didn't see coming. The Dragapult might be choice locked into Shadow Ball, so this seems like a good time to bring Ursaluna in. And just throw off a Hyper Voice. And I'll click Dazzling Gleam with Klefki because it's super effective into both of these. And it can break a Focus Sash if there is one. And I don't have a reason that I immediately need Reflect this turn. We see the Ninetales switch in. Yep, Dazzling Gleam chips both Pokemon a bit. Fanning Force from Gothitelle really doesn't do too much to Assault Vest Ursaluna in Light Screen. I still don't feel like I need Reflect here. I think I can just Vacuum Wave Ninetales and Dazzling Gleam. Dragapult comes back in. It'll be able to change moves now. Could it be a mixed Dragapult? I think that exists on ladder these days. I mean, I don't think it's going to click a Ghost type attack. I'm thinking about whether to Terra Water Ursaluna, because it would resist a Blizzard from the Ninetales. But I don't think Ursaluna knocks out... I think what I'm going to do is Vacuum Wave Ninetales, hope that KOs, and then I can get the single target Dazzling Gleam to Dragapult. Instead they go Gothitelle, which takes the Vacuum Wave pretty well, actually. Dragapult clicks Draco Meteor, so at least it weakens its offense after this. And I actually feel pretty good here to just click Hyper Voice and switch Klefki out to Sinistcha, get the Hospitality healing. Oh! Klefki's trapped, right. I could Terra Ghost Klefki. We still haven't seen their last Pokemon. I don't know if I'm going to need the Terra Water Ursaluna. But I think it's worth gambling on that here. Terra Ghost Klefki. Oh no, I can't Terrasilize and switch on the same turn. What am I saying? Man, well, in that case, the Dragapult has weakened itself. I'll Vacuum Wave Gothitelle and Dazzling Gleam. They fake out. We can get another Draco Meteor into Ursaluna here. That's going to do a lot of damage. But Klefki will get 2 KOs. We'll see what their last Pokemon is, finally. Ninetales is still low. Goldango, okay. I might lose to that, but on the other hand, I might not lose to that. I think I do Terra Water here, so that Ursaluna resists Good as Gold. I think it's relatively unlikely that they click Shadow Ball. I'm gonna guess that the Ninetales protects here, and go for Earth Power into Goldango, and I'll switch Klefki out to Sinistcha finally. Ninetales goes for Freeze Dry. The last move I wanted to see from it. But we knock out Goldango, and now we beat Ninetales with Vacuum Wave, so everything's fine. It worked out in the end, and yeah, I couldn't get the Annihilape going in this game, but... just Rage Powder. But it doesn't matter, Ninetales will drop to this. I couldn't get the Annihilape going in this game, but we saw... Honestly, I was downplaying Ursaluna when I went over the pace. We saw Blood Moon Ursaluna in screens be an absolute menace in this game. I only actually got one screen up. They didn't bring any physical attackers, so I only needed the light screen. But even when I couldn't switch Klefki out, you know, I wanted to get Sinistcha in for the healing support and I couldn't do it. Ursaluna still tanked the hits that it needed to tank and was able to win the game after Annihilape got shut down. So that's a dimension to this team that I didn't entirely appreciate when I was first looking at it, but I'm really enjoying now after that game. And I'm definitely, I think, learning something about how to build this kind of team. I am at this point thinking about what to take to the Toronto Regional. This video will go up a while after it's recorded, so it won't feel early when you see this, but it is early now, and I am thinking about what kind of team. I liked the Rain team that won Gdansk, and I think Rain might be what I go with, but I also think something like this kind of team might genuinely be what I take to Toronto. And Toronto might be the only regional I go to this season, so, you know, I want to find a good team. Okay, Double Dragon kind of makes me want to just lead Ninetales and click Blizzard, but that's not very good into the rest of their team. Also, if the Salamence has Intimidate, they probably don't bring it because it'll boost Annihilape if they do. I think I can just do Annihilape Klefki again here. Sinistcha. I do have Freeze Dry on Ninetales. That helps into Melodic, but not into Gholdengo and Incineroar. And given that Gholdengo is kind of a threat to Annihilape, as much as I like the idea of clicking Blizzard into some of this team, I think it's more responsible to bring Ursaluna. And I don't remember if I said this last game, but one reason I brought Sinistcha and Ursaluna together in the back was so that Sinistcha could set Trick Room for Ursaluna if I felt like I wanted that. So I once again have that option in this game. They do lead Salamence. Okay, but it has Moxie. Alright, gotta be a little bit careful with that. Also, there's not really a good Drain Punch target here. I think it's okay to Terrastalize Annihilape here. Obviously, that makes it more vulnerable to a Garchomp or Melodic in the back, but I don't want it taking a Shadow Ball without turning the weakness off. Or a dual Wing Beat. And I'm just going to bulk up. Annihilape, I think, needs some time to get going here, and I'll set Light Screen. Because the Gholdengo is, I think, the more immediate offensive threat. Salamence says Tailwind, and Gholdengo goes for Nasty Plot, so yeah, that's pretty scary. I'm going to Rage Fist Gholdengo. It won't do much unboosted, I don't think, but it's a start. And I might as well set Reflect, again, to help cover for any attacks coming out from the Salamence. Instead, we see the Porygon 2 switch in. Gholdengo goes Terra Water, so I could have Drain Punched it at this point. But I didn't think it was going to Terrastalize there. I don't really know why it did. I'm a little bit worried about a Terra Blast, actually, the way this Gholdengo is playing. I don't know if Water Terra Blast is at all common, but feels like it might be setting up for that. I kind of want to... Maybe I'm taking the bait if I do this, but I kind of want to protect Annihilape, switch Sinistcha in, and then have Rage Powder available to click into Gholdengo. I'm pretty sure Rage Powder does work on Gholdengo, despite Good as Gold. I think I'm going to do that. I don't know if it's a good play, but I'm a little bit scared here. And if this is just my opponent getting in my head, which it might be as we see that Shadow Ball come out, then good for them. That's, you know, that's something that they want to be doing. But yeah, Rage Fist still isn't boosted, so I'll just Drain Punch Gholdengo, I guess. I can Trick Room, I can Life Dew, I can Rage Powder. I think I'm just going to Rage Powder. It probably means I'm sacking Sinistcha, which is not... Yeah, okay, just drops to the +4 thing. I'm not playing this right. This person has gotten in my head. Rage Fist would have hit harder after the Porygon 2 hit Annihilape there. Go back to Klefki, I guess. I'll try to get rid of this Gholdengo. Let's go Rage Fist. Dazzling Gleam, I have both screens up. But yeah, this person did really well at throwing me off my game. We do finally break the Gholdengo, at least. But I don't have Sinistcha available anymore to heal Annihilape. They forfeited? Why? Well, we don't know what their last Pokemon was. Maybe it was Incineroar, and they thought they'd just lose if they gave Annihilape an attack boost, but I wasn't feeling very comfortable in that game, even after beating the Gholdengo. And the way that was going, they had to know I was going to beat the Gholdengo eventually, right? You'd think. So for all that I talked about being uncomfortable, they must have been too, because that seems really early to forfeit. But okay, on to the next game. Whoa. Gothitelle Azumarill. I think Azumarill gets Perish Song, so that's something to keep in mind. Does it? I think it does. But how do they get the initial KOs? With Ursaluna? I kind of want to lead Ninetales into this because I feel like I need immediate offense if I'm going to stop that game plan. Although maybe that's what they're counting on when they have things like Grimmsnarl and Amoonguss to cover for it. I mean, I can bring Annihilape. Again, Annihilape can't be trapped unless I Terrastalize it. And I don't think there's a whole lot of incentive to Terrastalize Annihilape in this matchup. In fact, I think it's mostly just a bad idea. So I can do that. I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm going to go Mouse Hold. Because this is safety goggles, beat up can't be rage powdered. And I think if I'm going to do an Annihilape mode, I need to set Annihilape up quickly into this team. So I think beat up might be important here. And then... yeah, Klefki feels less important in this one. I'll bring Ninetales in the back. And I can either bring Sinistcha or Ursaluna. I'll go Sinistcha. I'm turning down some potential damage, not bringing Ursaluna, but we'll see how that goes. We see Grimmsnarl and their Ursaluna, so no good Rage Fist targets here, unfortunately. This might be a nice time to have Population Bomb on Mousehold, but again, I don't. I can protect my Pokemon and see what they do. That's pretty passive, though. I can try to taunt Grimmsnarl. I can beat up Annihilape anyway in anticipation of being able to take advantage of that later. I'm going to bulk up and side beat up. It's pretty passive, but I feel like just throwing off a Drain Punch or something here doesn't accomplish that much. They just go right for Blood Moon into Annihilape. They don't get the KO. But I think I'm going to switch Sinistcha in here. And Drain Punch Ursaluna. That'll get Annihilape some health back, and since I have Rage Powder available, they can't safely Blood Moon Annihilape on the next turn. Terra Ghost. Okay, so... oh, okay, Spirit Break will actually boost Annihilape's attack, but they might just KO Annihilape here. They do. I don't think the crit mattered either. Okay, maybe I'm not as comfortable with this kind of team as I thought it was. Maybe I thought I was. Maybe I just had a moment in the Grand Challenge. But hey, if that's the case, that's good to know, right? Because at this point, Ninetales is like all of my damage. Unfortunately, I think I might have to click Rage Powder here. What's the Terra type on Ninetales? Ghost? Not useful here. At least not right now. Maybe I can freeze some stuff. That might... yeah, that's not doing very much damage. Also, I misclicked. I meant to click Rage Powder, but went with Machogacha instead, and that looks to have actually been beneficial. But... especially since they Blood Moon Sinistcha anyway. But... so, nice little misclick there, but that Blizzard is not doing enough damage, and Mousehold only has Beat Up to attack with. I really think I would prefer if this Mousehold had Population Bomb. Even if it kept Friend Guard, I still think Population Bomb could be worthwhile. I guess I'll click Follow Me. Why not? Keep the Ninetales from taking things like that, at least. There's the Azumarill. Yeah, they can... I mean, they don't even need the Gothitelle to Perish Trap me at this point, but... they are free to set up the Perish Trap. I'm actually going to Terra Ghost Ninetales here so that it can't be faked out, and hope that I get the mother of all crits into this Azumarill. I'll beat up too in case it makes any difference. They fake out Mousehold. They don't know that I don't have Population Bomb, probably, unless they know this team. They're free to double protect here. Great. Go for Encore into Gothitelle, but I don't think it'll help. Actually, no. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to lose. Just quick Blizzard for the rest of the game. And beat up. But yeah, this team was... I don't know. I don't know if I have a coherent thought here. This team was able to shut the Annihilape down and win. And as much as I still like the Annihilape concept, I don't think I like or believe in this Mousehold set. And I'm not sure. We'll get at least one more. Double freeze, but it doesn't matter at this point. We'll get at least one more game, but I don't know if I'm bringing the Mousehold to any more games this video. We'll see. You get another freeze? No. Oh well. On to the next one. Oh, a Cleavor. That's cool. Like your basic sun... Well, no, this does not look like your basic Sunroom stuff. They have Cleavor, Archaludon, and Corviknight. Oh, I kind of like Terrafire and Annihilape into the Torkoal. We'll bring Klefki. I'm comfier with that mode. Actually, here's the thing. I might want all 4 of Klefki, Ninetales, Ursaluna, and Sinistcha in this game, so something has to give. I think Ursaluna is important here. I think we're going to make do without Sinistcha. We see Lilligant and Corviknight, so they can Sleep Powder and Annihilape if they want. I'll try to get a bulk up, and I'll just go right... Oh, I was going to say I'll go right for Reflect. I forgot I have Misty Terrain. They can't Sleep Powder or Annihilape if they want. I'm going to set Misty Terrain. Oh, nice. That even turns off their Psychic Terrain. Just as they switch Indeedee in. Amazing. I can probably even go for another bulk up here. And I'll set Light Screen in case the Indeedee wants to throw off a Psychic or something. Axe Kick. I didn't remember that was a move. I wonder what exactly it does. I'm worried about a Follow Me, so I'll bulk up into Indeedee. I'll Drain Punch into Indeedee. And we'll probably lose Klefki here, but I can get a Reflect first. Yeah. Axe Quick knocks Klefki out. Might have been nice to land a Dazzling Gleam, but the Lilligant is going to be faster, so I wasn't doing that anyway. They set Manual Trick Room, but I'm okay, I think, with bringing Ursaluna in here. I think this is the first time in the video that I've had Ursaluna and Annihilape on the field together, no? And I'll Drain Punch into the Lilligant slot and just go right for Hyper Voice. Yeah, they can follow me, but both my Pokemon should be slower than Lilligant. Maybe I should have used Blood Moon into Indeedee, because I think that would have KO'd and then I could have knocked Lilligant out there. That was a little bit careless of me. Here's the Torkoal, though. I think I'll Terrafire Annihilape, Rage Fist into Torkoal, and switch Ninetales in to take away their Sun. I'm still not getting rid of the Lilligant as quickly as one might like, but damage on Torkoal is important. That Eruption is going to be seriously nerfed now. They're also giving me a bunch of Rage Fist boosts with that Bullet Seed into Annihilape, and they still have Trick Room up. Lilligant should be the fastest Pokemon on the field, even without Chlorophyll being active. So, and they can't set the Sun back up immediately because the Torkoal's on the field right now. So I'll just Rage Fist Lilligant and Quick Blizzard. Okay, sure, they knock Ninetales out, but they're down to their last 2 Pokemon. They shouldn't have any way to get Sun back up. I think I can Rage Fist Corviknight and Vacuum Wave Torkoal here so that Ursaluna will underspeed Torkoal and knock it out before it can attack. They go for bulk up on their Corviknight, but this is a very boosted Rage Fist and it just KOs. So that's Annihilape working as intended right there. That's the kind of thing we want to see. And the Ursaluna support was pretty valuable, once again. I say support, the Ursaluna offensive pressure able to pick up some of the damage so that Annihilape wasn't having to do everything. Here's an Exeggutor Sunroom team. Feels like I run into one of these every other video right now, so that's cool. That sounded sarcastic. I mean, Exeggutor is a cool Pokemon. I do like that this is a thing. I just have to think about how to attack it. Ursaluna is decent. I haven't done an Ursaluna Klefki mode yet, have I? Klefki being able to override Psychic Terrain, I think might be worthwhile into this team, even though it's vulnerable to the Torkoal and the Ursaluna. I think if I bring that with my Ursaluna, I have to watch out for the Gallade then. But otherwise, I'm in a good position. I can Terra Water in front of the Gallade, I think, worst case. So let's do Klefki Ursaluna here. Ninetales, so I can change the weather, and I think we'll just leave the Mouse Ape stuff behind this game and bring Sinistcha in the back. So it's Exeggutor and Indeedee, or maybe one of them is a Zoroark. Either way, we'll override their terrain, and I think just click Hyper Voice with Ursaluna. The Misty Terrain Klefki is actually, like I said, much cooler than I gave it credit for when I was first looking over the team, as here it denies another Sleep Powder. I don't know why I struggle with the word powder in videos. I almost said Sleep Power, like I often catch myself about to say Rage Power. Trick Room's probably beneficial here. Just throw off another Hyper Voice. And Light Screen. Yep, that gets rid of Exeggutor. And we don't take much from the Psychic. Look at this Ursaluna go. This thing's so strong. Is Ursaluna going to be slower than Gallade? Yes. However, the Indeedee... I want to click Blood Moon into Gallade, and I think I'm going to. I'm just worried about the Indeedee redirecting it, so I'm also going to Terra Water and set Reflect. And they do redirect. This will knock out Indeedee at least. Sacred Sword does a fair bit of damage, to be honest. If I switch Ursaluna out and it comes back in later, can I click Blood Moon again right then? I want to assume so, but I'm not certain. Ah man, I've brought nothing but fire weaknesses other than Ursaluna. But I can't have it taking a double up here, so let's turn their sun off. They can't set it back up because they're down to their last two Pokemon. And I'll just click Dazzling Gleam with Klefki and hope it gets a chance to chip these two. I don't think they're going to Wide Guard. They are just going to knock out Klefki with Eruption. And Ninetales with Psycho Cut. So I get these back. I get these two in. Still in Trick Room. Okay, I didn't know the Hospitality would kick in when they switched in together like that. That's good to know. But I can also click Blood Moon again here. And Ursaluna will be faster than Torkoal next turn, so I think I'm okay with Blood Moon into Gallade. And Rage Powder, just so Gallade can't land some crazy crit on Ursaluna or something. Oh, I actually didn't account for Sinistcha potentially just being one-shot by the Eruption, but fortunately it wasn't. We crit Gallade. Trick Room ends, and I can Earth Power Torkoal and just click Life Dew to keep Ursaluna healthy. I think Ursaluna wins this anyway. They protect. But again, Ursaluna just gets healthier when they do that. I guess they're not even stalling anything valuable out. It doesn't really accomplish anything for them. This one's just sewn up. Sinistcha and Ursaluna are speed tying? No, Sinistcha was faster on the previous turn too. Never mind. I just misread or something. Sinistcha is faster than Ursaluna. Okay, Sand Team. That's cool. Why do I always sound sarcastic when I say that? I do mean it. The Heat Rotom actually could be an issue for an Annihilape setup kind of mode. Ursaluna is not necessarily bad into this. I could do Ursaluna Klefki lead again. Ursaluna, Klefki, Ninetales again. Ursaluna, Klefki, Ninetales, Sinistra again. Worth a shot, I think. We see Excadrill and Rotom. So... I think I want to just Reflect and Hyper Voice. I can also Earth Power Excadrill instead of clicking Hyper Voice. I think Hyper Voice is fine, though. Reflect either way to cover for an Excadrill attack. I thought Rotom might switch out to Tyranitar there. Oh, I see. It has Levitate next to Earthquake Excadrill. That makes sense. That's actually a problem. Well, the Rotom has weakened its special attack. In Light Screen, Earthquake did not too terribly much to Ursaluna. I kind of want to switch to Sinistra, but I think it's okay to Light Screen first. Let's Earth Power into Excadrill, because I don't think they're switching at this point. I could have used a normal attack. Is that going to do too much? No, it's not. No, even after the Terra, that doesn't KO Ursaluna, although it's closer than I'd like. We also don't get the KO into Excadrill. However, the Rotom has pretty seriously nerfed itself at this point. I think I can Vacuum Wave Excadrill. It can Protect or Switch, but either way, it's not getting damage from that slot. And I should be pretty free to Life Dew here. Try to get Ursaluna's health back up. I switch to a Amoonguss. Unfortunately, I don't have the Misty Terrain available anymore because Klefki has gone down. So Amoonguss is actually a very real problem. Of course, I also can't Rage Powder it because it's a Grass type. There's the Tyranitar. I can Rage Powder that. And of course, Ursaluna resists Rock Slide. I think what I want to do here is Blood Moon into Amoonguss and Terra Water so that Sinistra won't just drop to a knockoff or a Flying Terra Blast. And Rage Powder. That's Low Kick. So I actually would have been better off not Terastallizing Sinistra at least that turn. I was about to say that Ursaluna will take a nap here, but actually I guess they thought I'd attack the Tyranitar. But I do have a bit of a problem here in that I don't know that I can knock out the Amoonguss. We'll try an Earth Power into it. And just Rage Powder again. They switch it out. Okay. They have used their Terra, actually, so when I said the Tyranitar could Terra Flying earlier, I wasn't accounting for that. We've seen that it has Low Kick, but I don't think they'll click that here. I think I'll just Earth Power Tyranitar and Life Dew, try to get Ursaluna healthy, and then I can Vacuum Wave Tyranitar potentially later. Okay, they actually did Low Kick, so fooled me there. The Life Dew coming in handy. We get the Earth Power drop as well. Looks like it's Assault Vest Tyranitar. I'll Earth Power that slot again and click Rage Powder. Sinistra should be able to take a hit from Rotom and still redirect Tyranitar. If Amoonguss switches into the Tyranitar slot, the Earth Power should do a lot to that. It actually does switch in. But Sinistra is getting low. I think I definitely click Hyper Voice here, and I probably just click Rage Powder and sack Sinistra. Actually, they're not threatening that much damage into Ursaluna. I'm going to click Life Dew. I probably won't actually get to pull the move off, but it'll be nice if it does work. Yeah, they knock out Sinistra. Okay. Now I'll turn their sand off. Oh, well, it's already gone. Now I get Snow, but unfortunately they can turn the sand back on. However, I can just Blizzard and Hyper Voice, I think, and should do a lot of damage to something, at least as long as the Blizzard connects. And I think Ninetales should be faster than Rotom, too. I have put a lot of speed on this Ninetales because of the Encore. Just need to connect. Okay, good. Knocks out Rotom. Freezes Tyranitar. I don't know how important that freeze is at this point. It might matter. But in any case, I'm going to Vacuum Wave Tyranitar this turn and go for Freeze Dry into Amoonguss and hope these KO. Vacuum Wave does not KO, so yeah, that freeze might have mattered quite a bit, actually. Amoonguss also takes the Freeze Dry. Goes for Pollen Puff into Tyranitar, so I have another chance to knock out a Moongus here. I'm going to go Earth Power into Tyranitar and hope it doesn't thaw. See what this does. Okay, stays frozen. And I can safely Vacuum Wave it now. I think I lose this if Ninetales doesn't get that freeze, but that's a big part of the value of Alolan Ninetales at this point, that Blizzard has a relatively high freeze chance. So, they redirected my Vacuum Wave. That was smart. Tyranitar does thaw now. I can still lose, I think. But not if they're clicking Rock Slide into Blood Moon or Saluna. I don't think I lose to that, ever, in this kind of position. We knock it out with the Vacuum Wave. So yeah, the freeze bailed me out there, but that is legitimately part of the reason to use Alolan Ninetales. It's one of the strengths of the Pokemon. It's not like it's any crazier than Sneasler having 50% status with Dire Claw. So hey, I'm using what advantages my team has, right? And Alolan Ninetales is also just such a beautiful Pokemon design that I think we can forgive it, things like this. This kind of looks at face value like the Sun team from the final in Gdansk, except it has the same 3 fire types, but then none of the other Pokemon are the same. The Grimmsnarl and Annihilape are interesting. They might have their own screens Annihilape stuff going on. I don't see Beat Up. I could, despite what I said about the Mousehold, I could bring the Mousehold to this game and try to have the Annihilape advantage by setting my Rage Fist up. And actually, with the Terra Fire Annihilape into all these fire types, I don't think I dislike that. Don't know what the Gastrodon is going to do here, but I think I'll bring Sinistcha to help support Annihilape more. But then the thing is, I don't want to also bring Klefki. I think when I do a mode like that, I have too many support Pokemon and not enough damage. I think that's an easy trap to fall into with this team, and I have fallen into it in this video. Therefore, I can bring Ninetales to override Weather. It also threatens a Freeze Dry into Gastrodon. I can bring Ursaluna because it just is good and bulky with the Assault Vest. I'll bring Ninetales. Okay, we see Grimmsnarl, Gastrodon. The Gastrodon could go for like Yawn, but I'll definitely... The Grimmsnarl could have Fake Out. They can Fake Out Mousehold if they want. I don't know that it's super likely that it has Fake Out. I'll just go right for a big Rage Fist into Gastrodon if I can get it. Reflect will of course weaken this, but it still do some damage. Yep, 60% is pretty good. Yawn into Annihilape, but that's not the end of the world, because I believe Rage Fist keeps its boosts after Annihilape switches out, and I'm actually going to taunt Gastrodon here so that it can't yawn my next Pokemon that comes in, which is Ninetales. Don't love Ninetales taking that Spirit Break, but honestly, I think I'd just pivot Ninetales back out to Annihilape again here. I think that's fine. And I might as well click Taunt into Grimmsnarl too. Annihilape taking a Spirit Break, it would be super effective, but it also gives a Defiant boost, so not the worst thing. There's Poison on the Gastrodon. That does not help it take a Rage Fist. We do get the boost from the Spirit Break. Annihilape takes more damage than is ideal, but I do now have Follow Me on the Mousehold, and I can Rage. I can Drain Punch something, but I think I want to Rage Fist Gastrodon. I just misclicked, didn't I? Let's just cover this to be sure. There goes Gastrodon. The threat of Yawn is now off the board. However, Annihilape is at lower HP than I'd like, and I wonder whether... Do you think Grimmsnarl gets Sunny Day? I don't know whether it does. They also could just have Torkoal in the back and switch it in. So I'm going to Follow Me again and Terra Fire to take a Heat Wave or something and just Rage Fist into Charizard. Yeah, there's the Torkoal. It is Heat Wave. It actually misses Annihilape. Takes out Mousehold. We should KO Charizard here. And that means that when I bring Ninetales back in and get the Snow back up, they can't get their Sun anymore. But we don't need any of that because they forfeit. Excuse me. Now we see Male Indeedee with Sylveon, Talonflame, Garchomp, Dondozo, no Tatsugiri, and King Gambit. So the Dondozo can probably... The Dondozo actually looks like a pretty serious problem for this team because it can ignore Annihilape's boosts. Stat boosts anyway, not Rage Fist boosts. And it matches up relatively well into Ursaluna, although actually less so if I click the Terra Water. Terra Water Ursaluna might be pretty strong here. I might even want to lead that with Klefki. I was going to say or something else, but no, I think with Klefki, because I can set screens and I can also turn off Indeedee Psychic Terrain if we see that. I don't dislike Ninetales here. And I think I'll bring Annihilape too, to help cover the Kingambit. Okay, we see Sylveon and Talonflame in the lead. I kind of want to just Hyper Voice, and I don't know which screen I want first. I have to consider that Klefki might only get to set 1, because the Talonflame could taunt it. Their team is mostly stronger on the physical side, and Ursaluna has the Assault Vest, so even though I see Sylveon on the field here, I think I'm going to prioritize Reflect. Also, if they clicked Flare Blitz, then maybe that would have given Klefki a better chance to survive. I don't know the calcs. Hyper Voice does pretty good damage there. Sylveon is going to wear Ursaluna down quickly, though, and I don't like that. Well, it's a problem because I didn't bring Sinistcha. Maybe I should have brought Sinistcha instead of Annihilape. I might have gone a little overboard with that pick. But I'm going to Blood Moon Sylveon to try to minimize the damage here and get my Light Screen. They Will-O-Wisp into Ursaluna. That's not the end of the world, but it does mean that's even less time that it's going to be able to sit on the field. Blood Moon doesn't KO Sylveon. That I really don't like in this position. Hyper Voice did enough to Ursaluna that I'm worried I might not get an attack off, but I am going to try my own Hyper Voice because there's nobody I want to switch in, and hopefully I can win with Ninetales and Annihilape in the back. I'll click Dazzling Gleam too. Dual Wing Beat crits Ursaluna. Ursaluna is not going to get its attack off. I guess I tried to get that Pokemon to do too much there. We do finish Sylveon off at least. Annihilape is going to take a lot from Dual Wing Beat too, but on the other hand, I can Terra Fire now that the Water Ursaluna isn't available. Dondozo could be a problem, but Terra Fire Annihilape is... Garchomp could be a problem too. Maybe I don't Terra. Oh, especially in front of this Garchomp. But Dual Wing Beat will boost Annihilape's Rage Fist, at least. I'm going to go right for Rage Fist into Garchomp and just... Oh, you know what? I need to click Misty Terrain so that Annihilape can't be burned by the Will-O-Wisp. So I'm going to Rage Fist into Talonflame and click Misty Terrain. I can't go for Dazzling Gleam this turn, is the last part of that thought. And Klefki goes down, but we'll get rid of Talonflame here, I think. Didn't get the dual Wing Beat boosts, but we did get an Earthquake boost into the Rage Fist at least. I get Ninetales in here. My opponent has not yet used their Terra. Both of these, so I have very strong double super effective attacks into both of these Pokemon, but either one can Terrastallize. But this turn at least I'm going to play it straightforwardly, I think. And just Drain Punch Kingambit. Blizzard Garchomp. I don't feel like I know what they're going to do. Hopefully when I see it I can adjust to it next turn. But obviously there is some risk in this approach. Okay, it's Terra Steel Garchomp. Really doesn't take much even from that Blizzard crit, but they're not doing much down back to Annihilape so far. We do get the Drain Punch into Kingambit. It doesn't KO. That's unboosted Annihilape, I guess. But I think here I can Drain Punch Garchomp and Blizzard again. Blizzard should knock out Kingambit. I am a little bit worried about a Sucker Punch, but hey, I do have screens up. Here's the Sucker Punch. It only does 25%. We also could freeze Garchomp here. We don't? Stomping Tantrum knocks out Annihilape with the crit, so I think I lose to that. Although Garchomp is being worn down by its own Life Orb, and I can still freeze it, so this is definitely actually winnable. Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Stomping Tantrum. No reason to Terrastallize at this point. In fact, it's actively detrimental if I Terrastallize, because Ninetales loses the Ice-type defense boost in Snow if I do that. So I really shouldn't Terrastallize here. I actually think Ninetales might have the advantage, because the Blizzard does a fair bit now that it's single target. Garchomp's going to be worn down by its Life Orb. And they think they can stall... Well, they can stall out my Snow here, and I think they will. But they might not know that I have the Freeze Dry after that, so I don't have to rely on Blizzard hitting outside of Snow. Yeah, Freeze Dry knocks out Garchomp. So that actually was... I got a little bit worried toward the end there, but it actually was pretty straightforward for Ninetales to win that endgame position. And like I've talked about in a few videos lately, I better get a glass of water after this. There is a video coming up in the nearish future where I cross 1600 on the ladder and I say, I think this might be my first time ever crossing 1600. And that is the case because I recorded that video before this one. I kind of regret saying that now, considering how videos recorded after it have gone. But we're at about 1650 here, which, you know, I think this right here might, at time of recording, be my peak ladder rating. So, there are some hiccups with this team and how I'm using it. I really do still have an issue with the mouse hold set, but I think it's safe to say that I'm clicking pretty well with this team. And I'm not saying I'm definitely taking Annihilape with screens to Toronto, but very much still in consideration. For sure. Okay, this opponent has Blood Moon Ursaluna with Porygon 2, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Dragapult, Sneasler. By the way, whatever I take to Toronto, I'm going to need more best of 3 practice with it. The best of 1 ladder is not bad for testing how well I click with a team, but it only tells me so much, just to be clear on that. Okay. I'm going to lead Klefki and Annihilape into this. I don't know if this is the strongest kit time for it, but again, with the Misty Terrain being available to shut down Spore and Dire Claw, there's not that much here that immediately threatens the Annihilape other than Dragapult, and even then, we have seen a Shadow Ball Dragapult today, but until proven otherwise, I'm going to think its biggest threat is Phantom Force, which at least is a 2-turn move. So I have ways to set up around that with Bulk Up and Reflect. Yeah, Annihilape and Klefki for sure. I think I'm okay with bringing Sinistcha to this one. And then that leaves Ninetales or Ursaluna in the back. Or I can drop the Sinistcha and bring Ninetales and Ursaluna. I think Ninetales is okay. It's potentially a strong offensive threat into their Ursaluna and Amoonguss. They lead Sneasler, Dragapult, so I will just go for a Bulk Up. Maybe I should Protect. No, I think I should Terra Ghost Klefki, actually. Because that'll cover for a Fake Out, and then I can get a Screens, or I think actually turn 1 I Misty Terrain to stop Dire Claw shenanigans. I don't love committing my Terra to Klefki turn 1 like that, but see, that could have status Annihilape, and now it can't. And now I can... I can Rage Fist Sneasler. We'll see if it's Terra Ghost on the Ursaluna, and I'll Light Screen to help cover for whatever it does. But yeah, that Misty Terrain there was clutch. I guess I didn't necessarily have to Terrestrialize Klefki because they can't click Fake Out and Dire Claw with Sneasler in the same turn. That's something I maybe could have considered a bit more, but I don't think I'm complaining. I'm going to Drain Punch into Ursaluna and Dazzling Gleam to pick up the Sneasler if they let me. They do leave Sneasler in. Dire Claw's not doing much and it can't status right now. But they do at least get Dragapult in on the immunity. But we knock out Sneasler, and that Dazzling Gleam actually does a lot of damage to Dragapult. And as much as I've enjoyed using Sableye, I'm really liking this Klefki on this team. That's for sure. I don't especially want to Rage Fist Dragapult here, because if it does click Phantom Force, then it'll avoid the move. So what I'm going to do, I think, is just Drain Punch Ursaluna and Reflect. Terra Dragon. The Dragon Darts will... Oh, I was going to say it'll double target Annihilape because Klefki is a Fairy type, but of course I've turned that Fairy typing off. So the smart targeting actually does go into both targets here. Annihilape took a lot from that Blood Moon, but not enough to offset the Drain Punch recovery. And Annihilape and Klefki just forced to forfeit by themselves. I didn't even have to switch in another Pokemon. And this is the power of Annihilape with screen support. And also with Misty Terrain support in the Sneasler, Amoonguss metagame, like we saw on both of them on this team. I'm really liking this Klefki set. And yeah, Annihilape and screens still seems so incredibly strong. And even though the video had a little bit of a rough start in terms of wins and losses, We're still going here. It's been some time now. Okay, we got a Garchomp, Gardevoir, Talonflame team. Seeing a lot of that lately, too. How do I attack this? I think Annihilape setup is probably okay. Yeah, and I was gonna fall back on my mono Ghost Thought Pattern and say, only problem is I have to Terra Fire around a possible Will-O-Wisp, and that makes Annihilape weak to Garchomp. But I don't have to, because I have Misty Terrain. So Annihilape Klefki is actually pretty solid into this. I could bring Sinistcha. I think I'd definitely bring Ursaluna, though, to help into the Goldango. So that's a question of Sinistcha or Ninetales. I don't think Ninetales is that good into this team. I think Sinistcha is reasonable. We do see Talonflame and Garchomp lead, so I would like to get a Reflect turn 1. I can either protect and Misty Terrain and hope to get a Reflect turn 2, or I can just go right for Bulk Up and Misty Terrain, and I think that's okay here. They taunt Klefki, so I'm not getting the Reflect either way. Earthquake crits Klefki and knocks it out, but Annihilape gets the Bulk Up, and until they switch Indeedee in or stall out 4 more turns, there's no threat to Will-O-Wisp Annihilape. I'll bring Sinistcha in here. Get Annihilape nice and healthy. And I actually think I feel okay to Rage Fist Talonflame and just click Matcha Gotcha. If I'm lucky, I might even burn Garchomp. Oh no, I can't because of the Misty Terrain. I can't burn Garchomp. Gotta remember that. I could Trick Room, honestly. Right now, that'd give me a significant speed control advantage. And it's not like they have any slow threats on their team. I actually think I will just click Trick Room for the first time in the video. Ooh, that Brave Bird did a lot. Oh, yeah, that's dicey. But the Trick Room then should be beneficial because Sinistcha should be able to get a Life Dew into Annihilape before they can do more damage to it. Here's the Indeedee. I'm going to Protect and Life Dew, and yes, Life Dew will heal my own Annihilape through the Protect. I think Sinistcha will be slower than Indeedee. Yep. And they Dragon Claw to Annihilape, nice. They reverse the Trick Room, but how much was Earthquake doing to Annihilape? Actually enough to worry about. Because they can double spread move here and probably just knock out Annihilape, even if I Terrastalize it. So that kind of play doesn't work here. I think I have to switch Ursaluna in, and I'll Rage Powder in case they go for a single target attack with Garchomp. We see the Terra Psychic Indeedee. That might just overwhelm me here. That did so much to Ursaluna. Okay, they do Dragon Claw with Garchomp, so we at least protect Ursaluna from that damage, but Indeedee's Expanding Force is a 2-hit KO into Ursaluna. And I could try to pivot around to get Hospitality into Ursaluna, but it's not going to work. I just don't have the Pokemon for it. So unfortunately, it looks like I am going to be overwhelmed by this Terra Psychic Indeedee. Bit of a lesson for me in how to play with male Indeedee, actually. I've been underwhelmed when I've used it myself, but the Terra kind of does put it over the top in a position like this. That's something for me to keep in mind. But I'm just going to Blood Moon Indeedee and Life Dew, and I think they're going to not let me get away with that. Yeah, but if I switch Annihilape in, it's the same outcome. So I am just going to lose to this Indeedee. That's well played by my opponent. As much as I am enjoying this team a lot, it does have its limits for sure. And it would probably be worthwhile, if I'm going to work on something like this of my own, for me to think about some improvements that I could make to this team. Again, I think the mouse hold is the starting point. I was really not impressed with this mouse hold in this video, and I was very impressed with all of the other Pokemon pretty consistently. But in any case, hey, I got a decent ways up the ladder with this team, and I had a lot of fun along the way. I definitely think that Annihilape plus screens is something that I'm going to work with some more in the coming weeks as I think about what I might want to take to a tournament. And if you want to try this team out, you can find it in the team lists from Gdansk. I think it got like 7th place or so. Don't quote me on that, but easy to find on sites like LabMouse and even Victory Road. But yeah, I definitely think it's a really fun team, and I think that's going to be it for my Gdansk regional videos. By the time this one goes up, I think Stuttgart will have happened or will be about to happen, so we'll take a look at that one. But that looks like it was a really fun regional, and it definitely gave me some team ideas to work with going forward as we head into the later stages of Regulation H.